What's up, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of From the Cove Podcast. I'm your host, Marcelo. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, Jamir Nunley. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, this is going to be awesome. Looking forward to it and talking about your incredible career at Mayfield and Ohio Northern University, playing football, running back. You have an incredible resume, and I'm so excited to get into the insights and a little deep dive with it.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
Sweet. So life after football can look really different for everybody. So what's life been like for you since stepping away from the game?
I think, when you think about playing a sport you've been playing your whole life, I'm sure you can relate. It's honestly, it's like you don't know how to feel at first. I remember, playing my last game and just like being emotional. But I think the good part of it is, we always say that our coaches weren't just preparing us, to play a sport, but also for life. So I try to take all the habits that I learned throughout the game and just, applying those to what I do every day. So like my job, my professional career, my faith, my hobbies, and just trying to be content, with stepping away, but then also knowing that there's still more that life has to offer.
Yeah, so what's been like your main hobby now? Obviously, you've loved the game for so long. So now what are you passionate about like in today's life?
I would say, definitely like the physical part. It's just like I'm always in the gym. I'm always like being active. And, that's honestly, to me, that's just not about, taking care of your body. I think like the mental aspect of just like, lifting, running, like pushing yourself, physically, it does a lot for you. And I think it's all about discipline at the end of the day. So I like to do that. And then also I've been all about my faith, taking, same thing with football, you're showing up just like I'm showing up to church now. So it's just taking everything I learned, while playing and just using all those habits, to be a better version of me.
Yeah, so, you've talked about faith. Like, what does faith mean to you? You are so dedicated in your craft. You spend a lot of time with your church. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I think, we define faith like in the church as just, being hopeful in the things that you can't really see. And, I think like in football, it's almost like, you're grinding Monday through Friday to not even know how the outcome's going to be on Saturday. So I try to live by that and what I do every single day. And it's, being confident in the plans that the Lord has for me, even if I can't really see that yet, but it's still showing up every day, trying to figure out what his purpose is for me and making sure that I'm honoring him in everything I do.
Yeah, one thing I've definitely learned, just being so young and in our 20s, like we have our whole life ahead of us, and it's hard to find out which path or direction like we like want to go down. Even like today with work, just like life in general, I'm like, what's like my future going to hold? But I feel like just having faith in God throughout all those uncertain thoughts and the uncertain energy, just having faith in God and just sticking with the word, is truly powerful, and it kind of gives you like a sense of direction that everything's going to be okay in the end.
Well said. And it's like you said, dude, you got to fall in love with the process, not just the destination. So I totally agree.
Yeah. Even through some of like the hardest times, just finding joy in the journey. Like, yes, it can be so hard at times, but if you truly fall in love with the grind and the journey, it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, no doubt.
So looking back on your career at Ohio Northern, 28 games, 480 yards, and 4 touchdowns, those are the numbers that people see. But what's the part of your story that the stats don't really show?
I think with that, it's how much of a competitor, I am and how much I was in my football career. And it's like anywhere you go, there's going to be competition. And it's like all those plays, all those numbers, I had to fight for that. You feel me? And it's like there's always going to be somebody that wants your job. You're always going to be competing for the job that's in front of you. And it's almost like all the playing time. It's like people don't really see the stuff behind the scenes, but yeah, dude, I think regardless, I still competed, and I don't have any regrets about that.
Yeah, so give me like 3 traits that really like define you and more so shaped your football career and like efforts on like that field.
Number 1, I'm gonna say confidence, just because I feel like there's always gonna be people that are gonna have something to say. Even like not regarding football. It's like I always tried to step out on the field every single day. Not changing the opinion I have of myself, and I think that's really important because anything that somebody else has to say shouldn't affect how you think of you.
Yeah.
The second thing I'm gonna say is work ethic. I think whether it's football or like our professional careers, I think you got to show up. I think that's the bare minimum, and I think you got to find ways and habits to get ahead of other people. And Kobe, right? Kobe always said when you put in so much extra, it compounds. And as time goes on, like you're gonna be in a totally different place than your competition because you're putting in extra.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'm gonna say is humility. I think it's really important to know that whether it's football or your job, anything can be taken away from you at any point in life. So I think you always got to have, coaches call it like the next play mentality. Like no matter what happens, whether you win or whether you lose, you always got to focus on the next thing.
Wow. Well said, bro. So from your freshman year to your senior year, what changed the most in you as a player, both as a running back and on special teams?
I think I kind of talked about it a little bit with the humility. I think it's the humbleness, but it's not like humbleness in a way of like I don't believe in myself, but it's knowing that it's a team sport, and it's like there are a lot of ups and downs, not just in sports but also in life, and it's like you gotta appreciate the times that you're winning and the times that you're losing. I mean, like I've been benched before, I done messed up on a play, like all types of stuff, but it's like all those things I feel like I went through, so by the time like I was ready like to become a starter, that I was able to do my job like to my best ability.
Yeah, so take us through like that first carry. What did that feel like?
Yeah, so I think I got my first carry my freshman year. It was like garbage time, but I know those moments are where you build trust and you kind of show what you can do. So it was against Otterbein, and we're blowing them out, and like I felt like I was ready. I think I had a couple carries that game. I didn't have a whole lot of yards, but I knew like, especially when I first came in as a freshman, like it's like people like to call it big-headed, but that's how I feel honestly sometimes, because it's like if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. So I used to always step out on the field, even like when I was 18 going up against grown men, like I used to always step on the field like I was gonna beat them or that I was gonna win, and I think that's the mentality that made me successful at all in college football. So I think that first game that I started, like I was definitely a little bit nervous, but I knew that I was going through all that stuff, as preparation.
Yeah, so obviously the game of football is all about family, brotherhood. Talk about your teammates. Did you have any insane teammates that, excelled at the NFL level or maybe pro overseas? Just talk about your teammates.
Yeah, so I'm really, really close with all the guys. I mean, like I just went to one of my boys. He's our starting left tackle. He was all conference. That was my guy Cordell. I just went to his wedding like 2 weeks ago. And then my boy LJ, he's playing overseas in Spain right now. And that's my boy too. And it's like going through all that stuff of like workouts, going to class, getting up early. It's like it builds you, and it's really more enjoyable when you're going through that like with your guys, you know what I'm saying? And those are experiences that like none of us will ever forget, even though we all hung the cleats up. It's like we're all gonna remember putting that work in together.
Yeah, I mean I've played basketball with my guys, even like football, baseball with a lot of my childhood friends since we were so young, and just like looking back on those times, whether it was ice cream after the games or more so just like the team bus rides home after like a huge win. Those were just like the best times and like the best memories, and it's so true. Those are things that you will never ever forget. Seriously.
Yeah, I'll never forget that post-game pizza on the bus. Post-game Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, we had post-game pizza, subs. Oh my gosh, the Jersey Mikes and Subway subs are always the best. Those are always like my favorite too.
Dude, and like I feel like the away games, like the bus rides are like almost more fun than the game. Like especially if you won. Like I remember all the bus rides, all like the stupid stuff we were doing on the bus on the way home, and we'd get back to Ada like super late, and it was fun. I miss that stuff.
Yeah, but then like if you got blown out or if you lost, like it was silent like the whole way home.
Yeah, I mean it was still fun regardless.
Yeah, I mean I think I remember I think we lost probably like 3 in a row. I think it was my senior year in high school, and the bus ride home was like so quiet, and like me and like all my buddies just wanted to like talk and like chill and like kind of just to take our mind off of things. But the whole ride it was just silent.
Yeah, and I think like even like the winning together, like you mentioned, like even the losing together, like brings you even closer together because you're experiencing, that loss, not just by yourself, and you kind of, you go back to the drawing board, you get it back next week, you get back in the film room, and you kind of just improve.
Yeah, I mean, me and a few of my teammates, ranging from I think it was sophomore year to senior year. We had a group of like 17 guys on our freshman year team, and then all the way to our senior year, there was only 4 left. It was crazy. So a lot of my friends went through kind of hard times with coaches, with falling out of love for the game. So a lot of like different things that happened. But at the same time, it almost made us closer because we went through like certain hardships, whether it was on the court or off the court, that brought us more together. And obviously, as time went on, it just formed that bond, and those are things that I'll truly like always be grateful for.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. That's totally relatable. It's like I think my freshman class of football, we had like 100-something kids. By the time I was a senior, I think we had like 20.
Wow.
Because like you said, like not everybody is dedicated, to that grind, and it's like, you're gonna really find out the guys that you can trust and the guys that you want around you by how they go about that stuff. So
yeah, I mean that's crazy. So talking about like a roster standpoint, like how many kids like are on like a D3 roster?
I think about like 100 or
wow.
so.
No way.
Sometimes more, just because you got your starters, the 2 deep. We had like a JV team that was mostly freshmen, but yeah, like it's the coaches usually do like a good job of just recruiting and bringing in like a lot of bodies, and it just makes the competition more interesting. So
yeah, and then I think you also mentioned too that you were behind a All-American.
Yeah, I was behind the school's leading rusher in like ONU history, which is
no
like
way.
Because it's crazy. Because then some people are like, "Oh, well, why did you go there?" And it's like, so he was like a senior, like a true senior when I was a freshman, and there was another guy behind him that was like first team all conference. But like I had kind of known coming in, and the coaches kind of made it clear that like it was gonna be like I was still gonna make an impact, and I wasn't concerned about the competition or anything like that, just because I knew my time was gonna come eventually. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, also too, I'm sure like he made you a way better player as well, because you probably got to see his like moves and his like technique and all that.
Yeah, I got to learn, a lot from both those guys, just because like I was young and they were both like considered like leaders. They're both captains, so it's like people looked up to them, on and off the field, and I got to see like their habits, how they worked out, like and I'm still connected with both those guys too, and like they did a good job of just coaching me up, helping me with the playbook. Like they could kind of see, the talent I had and like the vision, and that was really big to me too, just because I had a guy that just ran for 3,000 yards, the season prior, working out with that guy, seeing how he approaches practice and stuff. So yeah, it was cool to learn from those guys.
Yeah. So did you have a favorite pregame song that kind of went from your freshman year to senior year, or did it change like after every game?
I didn't have a favorite song, but like artists, like I was always either like some young boy, probably like I wanted to be turned up. I was that type of guy. Like I really wanted to be in that mode, and I want to go out there and do what I do. So
yeah, like there's always people that like always get amped up. I was always like the amped up, but then I would do some like meditation.
Yeah.
And then I'd have friends that would just like sit in like silence and just like not listen to anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not playing any tunes?
No, dude, I had to have the headphones on, full blast. Like I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like I don't understand. I guess you could sit in silence, but at the same time, like I just love like just like feeling like loose, having like some good energy going into it, building up that like momentum.
Yeah. I think some people focus differently. I know like some people, like you said, like they might want like peace and quiet. Like they just might want to chill before the game. But not me. Like I used to be in the locker room, I used to have the music all the way up. Like I was one of those. But that's just kind of how I approach like pre-practice and stuff. So
yeah. So you had that 70-yard touchdown run against Wilmington where you only needed 3 carries to put up 80 yards, which is super impressive. Can you walk me through that play step by step from your perspective and what you saw that allowed you to break off that run?
Yeah, so that game, going up to that week, I had been working hard, I've been grinding, and I knew I was going to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it is just making the most of the opportunities, you do get. And I think that's something that you can carry over to life also. But yeah, I think they threw me in like a little like early second quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time I got the ball, I think I broke for like 20, and I was like, oh yeah, already know what type of game it's going to be. So yeah, and then like when I scored, it was like an inside zone, and I had completely like bounced it, like I bounced it all the way outside, even though I'm not coached to do that, but but yeah, I used my vision, and I just got loose.
Yeah. So when you're in that moment, like, what was going through like your mind, like more so that like you just broke off that huge run,
Yeah.
or if anyone was coming after you, like what, like,
Yeah.
take us through that.
Yeah, I think as a running back, a lot of stuff is like it's like instinctive, right? It's like like it's not like as mental as like quarterback, for example. A lot of the stuff is like a reaction. So I think like hold just open, and then I do what I do. I feel like every time I got the ball, I could take it to the crib, and that's exactly what I did. So
Yeah. So like as soon as you get the handoff, like what's like your first thought? Just to find like the open gap, or more so like, where am I going?
Yeah, a lot of it is like it's just like setting up my blocks. That just comes with film study and just like knowing run game stuff and like knowing defensive fronts. Is like knowing where your blocks are gonna be, knowing like the timing of hitting the hole. And I think the O lineman did a good job that day. And then hole opened up, and then I did what I do.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to see like these backs, like for example Le'Veon Bell, like the patience of just finding like the gap and just having that time with your O-line to just kind of break through and just have patience with the whole process. I mean, just like watching his tape is just unreal. So who did you try to elevate your game off of?
So my favorite running back, like since I was a kid, was LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I studied his game like to a T, just because like I like the shiftier, like faster backs, and it's just like him and like the Eagles and like the 2000s, like they were just so fun to watch. Like that's the running back like I watched the most. Like I used to watch his highlights before the game.
Yeah.
And it's just like he had like that vision, that change of direction, that explosiveness, and I kind of had like a similar kind of play style. So that's definitely just his confidence, like his swag, just all that stuff.
Yeah, my favorite back of all time might have to be, I would say, either Chris Johnson or Alvin Kamara's got to be one for sure.
Oh yeah, I agree.
100%. I mean, his stretch from like his rookie year to like 2020 was unreal. He was unmatched.
Yeah, I even think like prime Zeke.
Yeah, prime Zeke was awesome.
Zeke, though, like he was just. It's unfortunate that he fell off, but I used to watch Zeke a lot, like since Ohio State.
Oh, he was so good, man.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite backs too.
Yeah.
Even like Jamal Charles was a beast.
You love Jamal Charles, bro.
Dude, he was so good. He was so good, man. I'm trying to think. We had like a lot of good backs like growing up.
Yeah.
I think too. Now it's kind of changed a little bit just because like the position in the league, but now like they can kind of catch passes out of like the backfield and all that.
Yeah, I think like the position in general, like it's definitely over the years became like less value just because like you don't see running backs getting drafted like first round, like at least not that often. But I even think like in today's like NFL, like the most successful backs are like my favorite like as of recently is like Christian McCaffrey. Like that dude's always been a dog, not just because he can run the ball, but he's like basically like he's like a weapon. Like you feel me? Like you could throw him the ball, and I used to always try to take that and add it to my game too because I caught a lot of passes like in college too. So that stuff is definitely like cool, and then like even it just kind of makes you more valuable like as a player. Even like Jamir Gibbs does the exact same thing too. So
yeah, Jamir Gibbs beast. Same with CMC.
Oh yeah.
So good. So, what was your high school football experience like from the environment to the competition? What did you take from that helped you succeed at the college level?
Dude, I think like firsthand being at Mayfield, like our games and just like sports there, like it was just so fun. Like all of our sports, like even like Friday nights, like the whole stadium will always be packed. Like we had some really really like dedicated like fans. like all the families and the parents would always be there, and like I've been playing for Mayfield since like 5th grade too, so like it's always like that. It's just like it's like a sports like kind of centered like type of culture, and I always thought that was a good environment for me to be in. That's like part of the reason why my dad wanted me to play for Mayfield and stuff, and it's just like I kind of like got my own experience of like I was playing behind 2 other running backs that were also like really good, and I think like I got my first little bit of playing time like as a sophomore, but it was cool. And then the biggest thing that I learned was definitely like it was the competition. It was like even though like I thought I could do all this cool stuff and stuff, there's always guys that are on another level.
Yeah. So who was like the best player you faced in high school?
Best player I faced in high school, I think in general, so we played Archbishop Hoban like back-to-back years in the playoffs, and like their whole team like had offers.
No way.
Yeah, like offense and defense, just because like historically they're just like a really good program, and I would say like just that team in general. Like my junior year, we were at Akron and like second round of the playoffs, and it was freezing, like it was cold.
Yeah.
And then like they had like a tight end going to Alabama, the quarterback
What?
was going to Florida. Yeah, like they had all these like their running back went to Arizona State. So yeah, it was like it's just like it wasn't what we were used to, just like playing like in our conference. Like I think we played a few guys with offers, maybe like less than a handful.
Yeah.
But no, that team was just different, and then you can kind of see just the gap, like physically, like mentally, like the way they prepare, and you kind of see like what it takes to succeed, at that level.
Yeah, like take us through that vibe of the atmosphere, like throughout those playoff games.
Yeah, and it's like being like playing Hoban like back-to-back years, just that's also a school that like takes football seriously. Like they're all about sports, and you can kind of see like the difference in like what type of program they are, because you can see that in college too. You can see why they win so much, and like you can see the way they warm up, the way they're coached, like the way they run plays and stuff. It's like their demeanor like on the field, and it's kind of you can see the difference between a guy who takes the game seriously and then like some high school kid who's just doing whatever. And I think that's part of the reason why we got whooped that day, just because they had like a team full of guys that were ready for the next level and had already like been grinding and were like super talented.
So like do you think like that mindset shift is started from like a young age, like where those kids are kind of taught to, I guess, play at the college level, or do you think that's more so just found throughout like the level of the game? I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, yeah. I think the way you fall in love with the game and like how dedicated like you become, that's kind of like, I think that regardless of sport, that's like every player's kind of own like individual journey. I mean, like I know me personally, like I had always wanted to play football in college, like since I was a kid, and like I started playing like contact football at 7, and I was already thinking about like what I was going to do in high school and what I was going to do in college. And then like some people don't start playing. Some people got offers in high school and they just started playing football in like 8th grade.
Yeah,
there's some guys that are like super talented, and I think like it honestly just makes like the sport that more enjoyable, because everybody's not going to take it serious to the point where like they're playing at the next level. So that's another like thing regarding competition, is just kind of there. That's why there's teams that are super successful, and then there's teams that are like bottom of the barrel. So
yeah, so true. So you've been on some great teams, have played with some great players. Walk us through that first touchdown. What was that like? How was your celebration with your teammates?
Yeah, high school.
Yeah.
I think if I remember, that's probably my junior year, like when I had became a starter, and I'm trying to remember like exactly. It might have been against like Madison, like because they weren't like they weren't very good, but yeah, I think like just looking at like how I grew as a player from like like learning and like watching other people, like watching all the varsity guys, and then like that to go from that to me playing like on Friday, like scoring touchdowns. That's really my favorite thing ever. Like I was always like an offense guy, and it's just like it's almost like you don't even know how to react sometimes. But I think like the feeling is like all this work like I put in, like I'm finally getting to show that. And like I'm always the type of person too, like I like the fans to be there. Like, I like the spotlight. I like to be in front of the crowd. Like, it just makes it all like fun. And then you get to come up on the sideline and celebrate with your boys. So yeah, that first score, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, same with like my first varsity minutes. It was awesome. So, kind of like what you were saying, Mayfield always shows out in sports. It was like our first home game, my junior year against North, and I finally got my first minutes, and I was out there for probably like 10 minutes, scored like 10 points, and then hit a buzzer beater 3 to go into halftime, and it was crazy. Like the vibes were just awesome. It was unreal. So just having that feeling and being able to share that with all of like your teammates and all of like your close friends that are, you know, on the sideline or even in the stands, like it's just awesome just having that support. So I definitely know how much that probably meant to you.
Yeah, that's why he was wearing that number 1. Hey,
hey, yeah, you were the real number 1 though.
No, dude, that was you. You was wearing it before me, bro. I didn't get it till I was a senior.
Yeah, facts. I think I was wearing 1 probably since I was like, had to be like 3rd grade.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like on varsity, like obviously, you know, the you're not gonna get to pick your number.
Yeah.
until you become that dude. So.
See, ours, I think we had to shoot free throws for it, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely choosing 1.
Yeah, I wish, dude.
Yeah, like I don't understand why all of the low numbers are always like the first to go. It's like, hey, like 10's not bad, like 12's not bad, but like football is like different though. You could be rocking like 39 as like a halfback.
No sir. No, yeah, dude. Yeah, I always thought it was cool to have like that single digit. It's just something about, especially like number 1, like you just feel different.
Yeah, one is so different. I mean, you look at all of like the players that have wore 1, like they're all studs.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of one bad number 1.
Exactly.
So maybe like number 52, I could probably think of like some, or like number 53.
Like 45.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, 45 is Donovan Mitchell though.
Yeah. I guess basketball is a little different.
Yeah.
Just because, like, you could be a stud and wear whatever in basketball. Like, Steph Curry wears 30.
Yeah, Luka wears 77.
Yeah, that's crazy word.
Yeah, whereas, like, football, it, like, changed. I think, like, quarterback usually is, like, from, 1 to, like, 15.
Yeah.
Halfback is, like, 1 to, like, 20-something. Yeah. The O-line's, like...
It's, like, 50, 60.
Yeah, 50, 60. Yeah. Tight end's like 89.
Yeah, I used to not mess with the receivers wearing 80s.
Really?
Because I've liked the lower digit numbers, like, since I was a kid. Like,
yeah.
It just looks better. Like, your jersey fit different. Like, it's like, I don't know.
You know what? Now that you say that, there's a ton of receivers that rock 80.
Yeah, that's
yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, that's like a receiver thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So what was your recruiting process like coming out of high school, and what ultimately made you choose Ohio Northern?
Yeah, so I think my recruiting didn't really kick off till probably like my junior year, and then I didn't get any offers till really like the end of my senior football season. So I had like some small D2s, like mostly D3s, and then I was kind of really focused on just like my education. Obviously, I think for a college athlete, I think yes, like your sport matters, but don't go somewhere where it's not like a good academic institution that's like accredited, and after football or whatever you play, like you're gonna be straight. So I think my final 2 schools were actually JCU and Ohio Northern.
Yeah. And
I knew historically, JCU was like a little bit better of like a program, like as far as like winning goes, and just as far as just like culture and like coaching, and like ONU's won a lot too. I just knew that like JCU, like they're just their recruiting was just a little different, and then I chose ONU because I felt like the football fit was like still there. Like I was gonna come in and make an impact. The coaching staff, was very like well put together and very experienced. And then I studied computer engineering, and ONU's College of Engineering is like very accredited.
Yeah.
And like their job placement rate is like really good. And when I visited, I just kind of felt like that's where I was being led. So it ended up working out.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% know where you're coming from, because with my visits, like, I think my junior year, I was more so focused on, like, I just want to go play ball. I'm like, obviously that's not how it's supposed to be, but, when you're in that mindset, you're like, I just want to go play basketball, that's it, blah, 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 blah. And then towards my senior year, I went on a few visits, and I went to, like, a few tours, and like yes, like the programs were good, but like the education piece just like wasn't there. Like I was looking for like a main business school where I could get, you know, a nice job out of college, because obviously the game doesn't last forever. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're only playing it for
Right.
so long, and the rest turns into your full-time job or career. So I remember going on a few visits, and I was just like, you know what, like the programs are great, but like the school is just like, it's just not my fit. So that's why I ended up choosing Carroll, even though it was sad not to play like basketball in college. It was essentially a way that I knew that what am I trying to say? Like my path was going to be
Yeah.
brighter within the future instead of
Yeah.
what it would have been if I just would have played basketball.
Yeah, and I think, you know, being like a senior, especially guys that like are like very highly recruited, like they're getting all these offers thrown at them, especially like now, like with NIL,
Yeah.
they're getting money too, and it's just like some people aren't really concerned like with how their life's gonna look after school or like
Yeah.
after like 4 or 5 years, you know, after they're playing their sport. So I think that's definitely something that like high school students should like consider is like, okay, well, if I go here, you know, can I excel at my sport and in the classroom? You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
because you know that degree stays forever. Like you're gonna have that, you know, for the rest of your life. So I think, you know, that's very important.
Right, and then even though like I knew I wasn't going to play basketball here, I found ways to make like an impact. You know, whether that's doing like a podcast, like this podcast started at John Carroll, or joining clubs, like finding other ways to branch out from the game. And yes, it's hard to lose your identity because, you know, we've played sports for so long that was our identity for at least like 12 to 15 years. So after that, you kind of have to make a change, and now we have, you know, successful careers, and we're going down our respectful paths. So
Yeah.
definitely making a name for ourselves, but in different aspects of life.
Yeah, it all worked out, dude.
So FTLC is all about the unseen work, chasing your own story and building something real. Based on your journey, what advice would you give to the next generation of athletes who dream of playing college football?
You know, I think whatever you want to accomplish, I think you always got to bet on yourself. And I think, like I mentioned before, there's always going to be somebody, whether that's like a coach or, you know, somebody else that's trying to bring you down. And
Yeah.
I think your confidence in the way that you feel about yourself can never ever waver based on anything anybody else has to say. And, you know, another thing I'll say is like, if you don't think you could do something, you know, you're probably not going to. So I think you got to have that belief in you first, and whatever your craft is, you got to know what you can do. You got to perfect your craft every single day. You got to have a work ethic, you know, but also at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people say, you know, be humble and this and that, which, yeah, you should be, but you know, don't be afraid, you know, to do you or to have like a certain type of swag about you, because at the end of the day, you know, when you're accomplishing everything that you did, it's because you thought you could.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. There are so many people that are going to tear you down and put you down, talk on your name, and they're only doing that because you're doing something right. Like,
Yeah,
you are doing your own
exactly.
thing, you're being you. I mean, there are so many athletes out there. For example, Jared McCain. He gets so much crap, but at the
Yeah.
same time, he's doing his own thing. He's just being himself, and he's so good. Like, he's so good at his craft. And with that being said, it's just you have to be you, because we live in a world of so many copycats and people who want to, you know, use the same method to get famous, or, you know, act like this to, you know, be this way. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but more so, just continue being yourself, because that's the only thing we have in this world. Because AI, for example, AI is taking over jobs, AI is replacing stuff. Like, I think the biggest thing in the content world that I've learned is authenticity, is just being you.
Yeah.
Because you're irreplaceable. Like, you're one of one.
Yeah, and you know, they're gonna hate, but they're still gonna watch. So
Yeah, I mean, there are so many people that told me, they said, yeah, like, your like podcast is trash, blah blah blah, like, you should stop doing it, like, you're wasting your time. But at the same time, there's people out there that like watch this and like actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I had a random email about like 3 weeks ago from someone saying, hey, I'm a big fan of like your show, blah blah blah, and I don't know what else was in the email, but like, it was cool to like get that like recognition from someone out there that I don't really know like personally. So the fact that you're having people out there that are actually caring for what you do, and they may not say anything like in the moment, they may not say, hey Jamir, like, you're a great football player, blah blah blah, but like behind the scenes, they definitely are.
Yeah, and another thing, like when people talk and stuff like that, you gotta find a way to use that as motivation. Because, like you said, like if people are talking about you, you gotta be doing something right. You know, whether it doesn't matter what it is. And I think, every time I noticed that somebody was saying, something about me, it's probably because like they're not doing what I'm doing. So
Yeah, and yes, it's hard because it's going to put your confidence down. You're going to feel low. Obviously, words do hurt. Like, no matter who it's from, yes, it can hurt. But once you realize that you can kind of turn that switch, Aaron Rodgers once said that he will never take advice from someone that, he's not acquainted with or surrounded by. So it's like the same thing. If you're getting hate from someone that you're not even friends with, then it's like, why even bother? Why even listen to that noise?
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely crazy. So with your I'm trying to think. So how can someone out there tune out the noise? Like, what have you learned from your journey that has really helped you with bad energy and all that?
Yeah, I think all that negativity and just talking stuff, like I love that stuff, honestly. Like, still, like I feed off that stuff. Even like in my professional career, I mean, there's gonna be people that try to say I'm not educated, or that I'm not smart enough to be an engineer, or whatever they want to say. And it's just I had always been able to take like criticism, like comments, and just kind of use it like as fuel, just because I'm not the type of person to back down from anybody.
Right.
The only person I fear is God.
Yeah.
and then it's like you gotta kind of find what motivates you, and you can't let words discourage you. And all your confidence and the way that you value yourself, that shouldn't come from external validation. That has to come from within. And that just comes with showing up every single day, and being your best self, and being secure, and knowing all the gifts that you have, and being able to use those to your fullest extent. But yeah, I would say with stuff that people say, I'll invite that. Like, I love that stuff, just because it's only gonna make me go harder.
Yeah, I mean, bro, well said. And even too, just like loving yourself. Like, for example, you don't need external validation. Like, take pride in things that you love and you enjoy and that truly make you who you are. I think that's so important, because there's a lot of people out there that don't love themselves. They're just searching for that, validation from others. But once you like learn to love yourself and truly appreciate yourself, you can do anything, seriously.
Yeah, dude. And at the end of the day, you're all you got, and you gotta be right with yourself, mentally, physically. And like whatever your sport is, just know that like all the work that you're putting in is for you, and it's not for anybody else that's trying to tear you down or anything like that.
Yeah, so true, bro. So now that you're in the working world, how has this chapter of your life compared to your time as an athlete, and what have you learned about yourself through the transition?
It's been good. So right now I'm working in tech.
Nice.
As an IT professional,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like I like to take all the habits that I learned in football and just kind of applying it to my job, whether it's like showing up early, staying late, putting in extra, being a good teammate and whatnot. And I think the biggest challenge like with me is just because like I'm so like goal driven, and I want to accomplish like all these things, and I want the promotions and whatnot. It's just like playing football all over again. And I think the hardest part is just trusting the journey and knowing that there's going to be ups and downs. And it's like people like move companies, people don't get that job that they wanted, and you kind of just got to take that mindset. Like me, like I still feel like I'm a competitor even though I'm not playing football no more. It's like I approach my job like that. Like I don't want to come in to the office feeling like I didn't accomplish what I wanted to that day. And even like against like other people, like I don't want anybody to outshine me, you feel me? And not like in like a toxic type of way, but it's just I've always been motivated by other people doing what I do. And there's all types of other engineers that probably got degrees from more accredited institutions, or they might have more certifications or whatnot. They might make more money, but it's just kind of all I just kind of all use it as motivation.
Yeah, I mean, even right now, I'm studying for the CPA, trying to show up every day pretty much with that same vibe, right? With positive energy, saying hi to everyone, just more so bringing that good energy going into that work day, because I know if I show up with a bad vibe, or I'm just down, then my whole day is going to be down. So it's like, the same thing, showing up with preparation, if I'm going into a meeting, having good notes prepared, having good questions prepared. And yeah, it's essentially like being like an athlete, like showing up and really performing every day. And yes, it takes a lot of energy, and it definitely is a grind for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just more so finding that motivation within and setting goals. Like, for example, one of my goals is to hopefully pass the CPA by the end of the year. So that's a great goal, and I'm definitely trying to achieve that now. So just staying goal driven and staying focused, and also having people that are going to motivate you, like, having good bosses or a good mentor, someone to take you underneath their wing and kind of guide you throughout the process, wherever you're at in like your journey. And I know that's been helpful for me since I've just started working within like the past year.
Yeah, dude, I agree. And then, I know you like Tom Brady. There's this one thing that Tom Brady said, like, in an interview, and it's like, the only things you can really control are your attitude and your effort. And it's just like, if you think about all the things that, you and I went through, as high school athletes, it's like, I don't think you'll ever do anything harder than play a sport. Whether, there's no job harder than college football. Like, to me, like waking up at 5 o'clock and going lifting and like playing on Saturday, that's way harder than sitting at a computer. And it's just like, I think that's why like we're fortunate enough to have gone through, those experiences as athletes, because like now it's like we're prepared for these things and like our careers, and like navigating corporate and working hard and being in the office for long hours, dude. And it's just like, and it's like that, those are the exact things that I try to bring, to work every day, is my attitude and my effort, because I know that your attitude is what is going to set the tone. So like whether or not something good or bad happens, as long as you're positive, you'll be able to perform at your best.
Oh yeah, staying positive is key, and also too putting in the extra work, I think, is so important, right? I mean, there are days where we're there for long hours, and we could be doing something else, but at the same time, we know that grind is just going to pay off one day, and we know that we're doing it for ourselves. Like, we're doing it to get better, to get the job done, and learn more throughout the journey.
Yeah, dude, that's what CEOs do.
Yeah.
It's going to be you one day.
Yeah, hey, me and you both, bro.
Yeah, dude.
So, what's something about the working world that you didn't fully understand until you actually experienced it?
So, this is another thing that kind of just relates to, like, sports. I think, like, having that relationship, with your boss, that is so important. That's crucial, because when I think about it, it's like, it comes down to being coachable.
Yeah.
And, like, coaching was something that, my parents, like, my dad was my biggest coach. He's my football coach, and my father. And it's like, they always taught me to take criticism a certain way and be able to learn, from the things that my coaches are telling me. And it's like, we used to both get yelled at.
Oh yeah.
We used to both like have to, we're conditioning, like we're running, like we're tired, we're getting yelled at, during practice and stuff. And it's, you got to take that same, mindset to your relationship with the person that's in charge of you, because ultimately, you're not going to get promoted if your boss doesn't trust you, just like you're not going to get in the game if your coach doesn't trust you. So like, It's the exact same thing. And I try to make sure whatever's asked of me, that I don't just do just that, but I also try to at least go above and beyond, a little bit, just because, if I want to work my way up and, and I want to be the person in charge, I'm gonna have to put in that time, and grind to get to that point.
Yeah, I would even say like understanding the why behind everything. There's always a process, there's always a meaning, a definition behind the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
So I know me and you both, we probably spend hours just, doing research and wondering why certain things are happening, how like the workflow is going.
Yeah.
And but I mean, yeah, like that's truly like what it takes. And I feel like, for example, we see, these, for example, sports anchors, right? These people will get paid to talk about sports all day. Yeah. And, we see, like the Stephen A. Smith, we see them just talk about sports. And we think, okay, yeah, they don't have anything prepared. They're just showing up every day and just talking.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they probably have notes, probably, of everything from the prior nights, the games, the stats, they have everything. They're going in prepared each and every day, and I feel like we don't realize that enough until we actually, know someone or really hear someone's story about their job.
Yeah, dude, and it's like being a student of the game, like you mentioned before, and it all goes back to like having that confidence that nobody can take away. I think another thing that a lot of athletes say is that confidence comes from preparation. Like people don't just show up on game day thinking they're about to, drop 30 and whatnot, but it's because you did all the things you were supposed to do during the week, so that you can show up. And work's the exact same way. I mean, like whether it's like a meeting or whatever, whether you got to talk to somebody important, I like to walk into everything, prepared, whether that's like notes, whether it's like preparing mentally, but yeah, I think the preparation is what separates, people that are average and people that are really good at what they do.
Yeah, it's always prepare to fail, fail to prepare. Wait,
Exactly.
it's fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Yep.
That's it, bro. So, now we're on to FTLC Fast Break, a new segment. Use code LionsCove, link in description below. We have 5 questions for my man Jamir. Who's your favorite athlete of all time?
That's easy. I'm gonna go the king, LeBron.
Why is that?
I think his confidence, like I mentioned before, there are a lot of people that tried to say and tell him what he could do and say that he couldn't do things. He just exceeded all expectations. That's the mentality I try to have.
Awesome, bro. What's your favorite food?
Pre-game
meal.
Oh, pregame meal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go some pasta. Whether it's probably like some homemade pasta.
Okay, now favorite food in general.
Favorite food in general, probably like a good burger.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
there's some nice burger spots in Cleveland too.
Yeah. What's like your favorite?
My favorite burger spot is probably Burgers to Beer.
Really?
Yeah.
They actually have a great BBQ burger.
Dude,
It's so good.
It's all their stuff's good, dude.
Yeah, it's so fire.
Yeah.
There's also 17 River Grill. It's got a good smash burger.
Yeah.
I think that's fire too.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's so good, bro. So if you weren't playing football, what sport would you choose?
This is a tough one because I was really only good at football. Probably track. I ran track too. I thought I was pretty decently fast, so I would say track.
Friday Night Lights or Saturday college football?
I'm gonna say this might be a hot take. I'm gonna say the Saturday college football, just like that early morning, like waking up. The feeling's just a little different.
Wow. Is there any other reasoning? I feel like this is tough.
It is. I honestly think the environment is a little different. Like I think Friday night, like in high school, it was cool because like it's Friday night, everybody's the stadium's full. But that Saturday, it's just like as soon as you wake up is game day.
Yeah,
So.
and plus too, from like start to finish, even seeing like friends and family after and all that.
Exactly.
Like I feel like it's a more so day event, whereas the Friday night is just at night.
Yeah. The Saturday, like you wake up and it's like, okay, I got to take care of business today.
Yeah, for real. So $100K guaranteed or NFL practice squad opportunity.
Well, I'm gonna probably take the practice squad just because like you can make a lot more. You can make a few $100K on the practice squad, and I'm gonna bet on me at that point. So
yeah. See, I would take the 100K because I'm not good at football. Well, actually, I'm good at flag football. Like, the one thing I wish I would have done is played football in high school with all like my best friends and you guys. Like, you guys are truly all awesome. So I wish I was a part of that group. But at the same time, I'm also like 160, 170. I probably would have got laid out and probably would have had a few injuries for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's all for the love of the game. It's all for the culture.
Yeah, and probably if I would have got hurt, I probably would have missed my basketball season.
No,
so
facts.
It
got scary.
Yeah, for real, dude. Even with all like the ACL stuff and everything, because the big debate with like the turf and like the grass, like it's definitely tough for sure.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, closing question: what's one quote or mindset that you live by every day?
I would say like mindset wise, just be you. Whatever you do, whether it's your job, your sport, just focus on you. There's always going to be people that have something to say, but as long as you keep as yourself and your goals the main thing, you're going to be successful.
Yeah, and then also too, what's your favorite Bible verse?
So my favorite Bible verse is Matthew 22:14. It's for many are called, but few are chosen. So that's many are called, to be invited into God's kingdom, but few choose to actually live a life that reflects Christ. So by me thinking about that every single day are the decisions that I'm making every day reflective of how Christ lives?
Love that, bro. That is awesome.
Yep.
Any shout outs, any last words for the podcast?
I just want to say, I appreciate my boy Cello. It's my boy right here, just for having me, for taking the time to speak to y'all, and hopefully I can see y'all next time.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been way too long, so we definitely have to catch up more.
Yeah.
And me and Jamir, I'll go back to the 2K days, the 2K20.
Yeah.
2K17 and 2K20 was probably like our good stretch of playing. So we had a lot of good times just playing ball.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah.
We'll have to run that back someday.
Yeah, bro,
let's do it.
definitely, bro. But that'll do it. Make sure you like, comment, sub, share with friends and family, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah.